Hello, this is Wedge, and welcome back to another episode of World of Tanks Replays. This time we're going to be heading out, and I have two games in the Super Pershing. Tier 8 Premium. I would have to say it's one of my favorite tanks. Definitely not a very liked tank in the game, because it has a very, very, very steep learning curve. And I've gotten past that, so I actually find this to be a pretty good tank. With all the 8.6 stuff going on, and the model of the Super Pershing being changed, and then everybody was panicking because it reduced the slope of the armor significantly, and that the Super Pershing's armor would be useless, blah blah blah. That's actually not going to happen. They said that was a mistake. They didn't know they were actually going to end up nerfing the armor by doing that. So, here's my game on Abby. Tier 9 game. Super Pershing is nice since it has limited matchmaking. Now, a lot of people say that, oh, yeah, this and the IS-6, completely mandatory, you have to use premium ammunition. Well, look, I've got one shell. I never find myself using premium ammunition in this tank. You just need to know weak spots. Most tier 8s will have weak spots that you can go through with this gun. It's got, what, 170, I think? Yeah, 170 penetration. I think that's more than enough to hit weak spots. So, what you're going to see here is me using this tank where it's really good. It's a really good tank in a very brawling. It's a good brawler. That's what it's meant for. It's not a medium. It's very good at destroying other medium tanks and other heavies, because even though it is pretty darn slow, it, one, gets very fast on hills, and two, is almost impossible to circle, because it is a Pershing, and it does maneuver very well. So, T26E4 here, that's space armor to use. Oh crap, there's an IS-6. Ignore him for a second, let's get that T26E4 out of here first. Fine, if you want to go over, have fun down there. Okay, let's turn our attention back over here. Ignore the T26E4. Okay, IS-6. Am I getting the weird red glitch? Let's go back to the camera from my perspective. Now, IS-6, you have to hit that stupid little hatch. You can see they're going, getting to my spaced armor. There's the hatch. So yeah, any shot that goes into the upper armor, lower plate, or gun mantlet, or even the ears will always, never penetrate. So, Super Pershing is good at long range gaming, but it's also, if you can tell the skill level of the enemy, it's sometimes good at close range damage. Because if the enemy does not know your weak spots or does not have practice shooting at Super Pershing, it can be a really good facehugger. So, getting in here close with the IS-6, kind of a stupid shot to take it aside, but we're just battering the IS-6 down. Oh, hello FCM. FCM, I really want an FCM. That would be really nice. Bouncing off the FCM, or I think that was the gun mantlet. Gotta get the driver's port here. There we go. Oh, maybe bounce. It's still pretty thick, but it's just a lot thinner. Really want to get that FCM out, because he's a really big gun that can go very easily through my armor. 200 something. I think it's 212 on that FCM's gun. Another shot through the IS-6's armor. This tank does have very good gun depression, so the reason I was able to go through there is because its armor sloping is negated by my gun depression. And finish off the IS-6. FCM tracks me. And we'll take the FCM out. So that is how good this thing is at brawling. As you see, even the lower glacis is really hard to get through. And then up top, on the top of that turret, that's the major weak spot. And then the other thing is under on the cheeks right there. but mostly the top of the turret is the major weak spot you should be aiming for on a Super Pershing. So let's get on here. And I think that's pretty much it for this game. Just showing you brawling abilities of the tank. I really like this as a tier 8 premium. As you'll see, it really prints out credits without a premium account. And it's cheaper than the rest, so I'd recommend getting this thing. For the first like 60-70 battles, it's going to be real rough because you're just not going to understand how to play this thing. But don't fall into the trap and just start using premium shells and giving up, because that's not what you don't need. Premium shells. I've got a gun rammer on this thing, which gives it a pretty good DPM. I actually tend to like the gun. In reality, it's a pretty shitty gun, but I like it. It does your job. It's more than enough. Ironically, this should be one of the highest penetration guns in the game, as in real life it actually went through 13 inches of armor, which is, if you do the math, I believe about 330 millimeters of armor. So yeah. But yeah, this game's all about balance. It's more of an arcadey game, and that's what I like it for. And I play this and War Thunder. I play War Thunder more when I'm in the mood for historical accuracy. They're going to keep coming out with their tanks. I assume they're not going to have shot dispersion. They're going to have you aim, you can count for distance, wind, blah 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 blah. I think that will be pretty cool. But I will still play this game because this game is really fun. It is really balanced. So I believe the two games complement each other. So Super Pershing. Verdict so far, fantastic. So this game went really well. Dueled down with a FCM and the enemy. What was it? It was an enemy IS-6. So yeah, good tank. Let's see another game. Okay, and welcome to the second game. Sorry about that first one, forgot to put it on low for replays, because Bandicam, as I explained in the last episode, eats up computer like no tomorrow. So, sorry if that one's a little laggy looking. Probably will be. I'll slow this down. So, a game on Campanovka. Oh yay. So here you gotta head up the hill, top tier. Really, just always think of yourself as a top tier heavy, because you're more armored than most of tier 8 heavies, so you really need to head up there. We got a good force going up here. IS is not the greatest thing to be going up here, because usually it requires a fair amount of gun depression. Pershing is a good tank to go up here. T32, anything American should really go up on this hill. We got the Tiger staying back. T29. Why is he staying back? Another Tiger. So, a lot of heavies in this game. So, let's move up. Here you see is one of the weaknesses of the Super Pershing. It is awfully slow up hills. I mean, well, I don't know if you'll get to see it, but when this thing goes downhill, it is very fast. So let's get up here eventually. Now, going hold down in this thing isn't really preferable, because that's where your only weak spots are, but it still can be done. So it presents a smaller target. So it's not necessarily better, and it's not necessarily worse. So heading up here, corner, trying to avoid fire from the left there. But let's see if we can points. That tiger. No. Enemy Super Pershing. Ooh, side of the turret. Yum. Let's see. Another shot on him. No, he's behind the building. Oh. Well, we hit him. Huh. And its bounce supposed to be absorbed by space armor. Odd. But one in front of that Black Prince. Black Prince hits Mantlet. Another one to that Black Prince. Putting it into his lower plate. That's going to bounce. Turret's pretty tough on the Black Prince. So, moving up. This thing can just take so much to shoot. Even when things can start to penetrate you, it just takes the beating so well. And destroy that Super Pershing. And I'm thinking, the Black Prince doesn't really damage me. Oh crap, yes he has. Here with the T29. I'll just let him get torn up by friends as I distract him. And here comes the reinforcements. So this is one dead T29. And here we go. Downhill time. Tracks of the tiger. And I believe right before I ram him, or I decide not to ram him, and somebody finishes him off. So, as you saw, I got up to 45 there, I believe. Poor Jag Panther. Realizes his fate. Scout Panther, I have no idea what he's doing. But, like I said, this thing's gun is more than adequate, so don't let that scare you off. It's pretty rough on penetration, but I really don't see that to be a problem. It's just need to know weak spots. Got that Type 59 side. 4 kills. Nice game. So really, I recommend if you got a lower budget, you still want a pretty good money maker. That at first it will be a little frustrating to learn this tank, but this is a fantastic tank for its price, and I really find that the only thing I would take, only tier 8 premium I would take over this would probably be the FCM50T, maybe the T34, but the IS-6 has that annoying hatch, and I really don't like the Russian 122, and the Lurver is just too slow for me. So yeah, I think this was well worth the money, and I love it. So yeah, if you're in that money range though, and you're looking for fun, I would go with the SU-122-44 though, because this thing, it's tier 8, so tier 8 games can either be very, very fun, or they can be really, really terrible with bad teams. So SU-122-44 is definitely more fun, but this will print out the credits and is overall, I think this thing is just, once you learn how to play this, it's just satisfying to play. It's not necessarily fun. Yeah, but this thing is, I will say this thing is really, really damn fun when you're going down hills. And also just bullying on lower tier mediums. It's very good at that role. So here you see another good game on Malinovka. Let's go to the after action reports for both of these games. So here we go. Here's the after action report from the first game. So this is I had premium because I think it was the premium code for the military parade weekend. So you see, with premium, 84,000. So yes, very good credit revenue, even without premium, which is what I usually am on. 56,000, which is really, really good. So let's see what I actually did here. 437 damage to the Jag Tiger, 323 to the FCM, 1,016 to that IS-6. I really gave him a beating, and 49 to the T29. So he really just very good at that brawling sort of role. So let's see, spotting damage, 35, 342, 286, decent amount. Again, the people I was engaging with. Also see sniper. It's got a pretty accurate gun. It's not overly accurate, but it's pretty accurate. Good soft stats on the gun. And steel wall. I have a lot of steel walls in this thing. It is very good at just sponging up damage. Team score, top of the team, 1,048 was my base XP, 2,265 damage, close to the top of the team in that category. Detailed report, profit 75,000 with premium, 46 without, and let's see other stuff. Potential damage received, almost always. Majority of games I will have 3,000 potential damage received plus. It just soaks up shots amazingly. 13 hits received. And then damage 2,265 on 11 penetrations. So yeah, the gun is pretty. I don't mind the gun that much. It's not as much of a weak point as you may think. Damage upon spotting 663. That's just a nice thing to have there. 11 capture points. 4 damaged, 2 destroyed, and 1.59 kilometers traveled. So that was a pretty darn good game. So let's head over to the other one, where we see victory on Melanovka. By this time I don't have premium, so 57,000. So let's look at the damage. 701 to the Jag Tiger 88. And I spotted him for 172, 155 to the 1059, 314 to the Super Pershing with 204 spotting damage, 294 to the Scout Panther with 36 spotting damage, 629 to the Black Prince with 63 spotting damage, 236 to the why did I say Super Pershing? To the T29. And, of course, 110 damage to finish off that Jag Panther. So, also got Sniper again. That's what I often get. I often either get Sniper or Steel Wall in this tank. It's very common. So, team score, top of the team, 5 kills, 2,439 damage, and 1,198 base XP. So, that's just like standard game. I'll have about 2,000 damage, and so these are just great games because the other stuff I did is just the gun is consistent. Everything about the tank is very consistent. So go over the detailed report. 17 shots fired, 16 hits. So yeah, most of the times your shots fired direct hits will be almost identical. Penetrations will be lagging behind a little bit, as 170 isn't quite adequate because you have to be aiming for weak spots, and sometimes you miss the weak spots. But 2,439 damage on 13 shots is pretty nice. 10 hits received, 2,230 potential damage received. Almost steel wall, 1 hit away. 2 enemies detected, 8 damaged, and 5 destroyed. So 475 spawning damage, and of course didn't travel very far. And you'll never, in most games you probably won't be traveling very far in this thing, but overall 46 profit, pretty nice. So yeah. Other thing to note about this is you will get very high survival rates in this thing. I find myself very, very little of the time when I win do I die. It's just that this thing can take so much of a beating that you'll almost always find yourself alive at the end of a victory, and you'll find yourself alive at the end of like a quarter of every loss. So, yeah, very, very good damage sponge, very good predator, preying on tier 7s, and also good at the long range trade-offs with equal tiered heavies. So I really like this vehicle. I would recommend getting it. Like I said, if you already have a credit printer, oh my goodness, and just looking for fun, I would go more with the SU1 2244. But this thing, as a tier 8 premium, is a fantastic credit earner. It's cheap, and once you get a hang of it, it's pretty damn good. So, also note that this is a medium tank, so this is a fantastic American medium tank crew trainer. As you see, I have this is my Jumbo's crew, so they switch back and forth between my Jumbo and my Super Pershing, since they have very similar playstyles and they have about the same requirements for skills. So overall, good rating on this thing. I really love it. So next time, I think we'll be doing the T20 medium tank, another vehicle, American vehicle I really love. So until next time.